Hello there, everybody, and welcome to Ears to the East, where we're doing another one of those episodes today where we have been given a theme and we will have to pick a song to go with that theme and review each other's choices and ask you guys at home what you would select. There's the YouTuber intro. Let's get into this. So the theme that we were given today, this was an interesting one. Basically, if we were in a movie, this is a very broad, vague remit. If we were in a movie, what would be the music, the song, which we would enter in our first scene? What would be the intro scene for us as a character? We were not told what type of film. We were not told what type of character. We just had to use our imaginations and say, what would be our walk-in music? What would be, because you know when you get like that character, was it, no, I mean, Benedikt, you're a Star Wars fan. Wasn't it like Darth Vader? Is it the first scene with Darth Vader where he walks in and he gets the da 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 da? That's like his walking
Pretty much
music,
every
right?
time he walks in, right?
Okay, all right, there you go. So that's kind of like, I guess, the gold standard for your walk-in music. And sorry, Neon, I know you've got lightsabers as well, so I apologize. I'm insulting my two resident lightsaber wielding Jedis.
To be fair, there's no greater walking music than Stone Cold. As soon as you hear that glass shatter, that was awesome. That's how you walk in, man. Not movie related, but still fucking incredible.
Is that like the wrestler, right?
Yeah, that is the. I should have known how it would be like. If it's not in
ignorance,
if it's not in Japan, Howard's knowledge of the rest of the world just goes to shit.
You mean there are other countries? It's like you turn into ultra weeb. No. But yeah, it's like, I gotta be honest though. It's like I know there's a wrestler called Stone Cold. Steve Austin, isn't it? Steve Austin. Yes. Yeah. Okay. There we go. So I got the knowledge. All right. I don't know anything about him having a walking song. Anyway, so we're gonna start with whose song are we going to start with first of all? Well, I believe we're going to be starting with Benedikt's song today. Usual thing. We'll say what we think about his song, and then he'll correct us and tell us what he was thinking. But this one with an extra layer, because we also got to talk about what we think he imagines this movie is. Now, so what was the name of the song you picked again? It's by YOUSEI Teikoku, wasn't it?
Exactly. It's called Hell in Glass.
It's a very, very dramatic name. Now, we've been talking about YOUSEI Teikoku occasionally, and then just when I opened this up on YouTube, I realized, oh yeah, I know YOUSEI Teikoku. And I started seeing some of the old songs I'd heard years ago. I was like, yeah, really theatrical, really dramatic. But this one, I love the fact that even in the intro, you've got like the strings doing the psycho thing that that's happening in the intro there. You got these dramatic verses. The chorus actually, I was surprised. Like at first, the chorus kind of like passed me by, but after about 3 or 4 listens, it started getting stuck with me. So it's actually pretty catchy as well. But this was like hardcore, dramatic music, very over the top, with sort of a mid-tempo thump as well. But it certainly made me think that your movie, there's something very hellish about this. Definitely, you are definitely some kind of villainous, black, otherworldly, supernatural creature in this. I don't know. I'm starting to get very concerned about.
I would say you hit it on the spot.
walking through a castle or something, like hunting down.
Exactly.
Yeah, the good guys, the group of teenagers who we're supposed to support from the village.
I don't want to say what I want before Neon went on.
I'm just imagining Benedikt with like, long emo hair, fangs, open top so you can see his chest and abs and, flowing in the wind as he looks majestically.
Sparkly makeup as well. Are you thinking of the Twilight movies? I was thinking like really.
There's more vampire stuff than Twilight. I would get it. Fucking hell! Well, stop trying to make me watch it.
I was talking about dark and brooding, and you're the one who starts talking about bare-chested guys with big muscles.
Yeah, but like cool, sexy, fucking emo, fucking like presents, not fucking Twilight. Why does your mind go straight to Twilight? Is this something?
I apologize. It's like the 3 of us before recording this, we were looking at photographs of each other from when we were younger and had hair, and I didn't realize just how emo Neon was. So now maybe I'm biased. What can I say? We need to put one of those pictures up on screen. So Yeah. So what did you think though? Like, your opinions on the music on that, Neon?
I thought it was really, really good. Like I said, I pretty much got the same vibes from it. Dark, brooding, foreboding. Really, really liked it. And for me, when I listened to this, I didn't see it as a movie. I pretty much summed this up as like an anime. Like I could really see it as like a dark kind of like, I don't know, what would be a good example? Again, probably like a Castlevania, maybe like a Tokyo Ghoul, something really gritty, something along those kind of like artistic kind of animes. I see it something like that, something like really, really dark, really gritty. And then just to have that music and stuff like that. Yeah, it definitely gives me villain vibes as well. I've got to admit, it's definitely not the hero in this story.
Villains in the album title as well. The funny thing is that actually you made a really good point there, Neon, in that like talking about it being anime, because I think there is that thing where when you want something which is big and grand, sometimes like you can't really do that in live action stuff. You can do it with CGI, but sometimes it doesn't come off as well. Sometimes you need to do something which is in anime style just so you can be hyperbolic enough to make it big enough. And I think that's part of YOUSEI TEIKOKU's whole visual vibe. And I definitely think with this song, if you're using this as an intro scene, it's got to be something that's so grand, so over the top, almost Tim Burton-esque. Yeah. That, you know, the anime vibe, I think would probably be a good way of conveying that. So let's
find. You said Tim Burton-esque.
I imagine this is like an anime where he's like the cool villain character that like all the guys want to be and all the girls want to be with. But
that's make Benedikt sexy.
Benedikt is uber sexy in this anime. Yeah,
it's just like this like whole channel is just going to turn out being you and me just gushing over Benedikt every week. It's just us
like he could make any line, no matter what it is, sound just like spectacular and gruff. Like, what do we do, Benedikt? Like golf.
Hey, Benedikt likes my song more than yours.
I got it from my daddy.
Got it from my daddy. Benedikt, where'd you get that body from?
Actually, I'm surprised you guys hit exactly like that what I imagined, because I actually imagined like in a castle, obviously me being the villain. I mean, this is the Age of Villains. I also have like a matching picture here, because I would say, yeah, I'm probably some kind of vampire style creature. I mean, not glittery, not sparkly in the sun, but more badass, like Castlevania. Exactly. And I imagine like
not as much as Howard wants to make it sparkly.
hey, this was not me who started that train of thought. But it will be me.
Yeah, you know, but in the beginning of the song, I imagine like this, you know, in these castles, like the main staircase that splits up at the top. And,
yes,
you know, some fog, thick fog coming along and building some kind of silhouette. And then when the guitars kick in, like the first step comes out. And I find it funny that Neon said like he imagined an anime, because to me, that's exactly what I imagined, like a drawn, you know, how they draw like smoke in anime. I think it's really awesome, and like a foot coming out of that with that heavy hitting music. That's my intro.
There's always that thing with like anime or animated smoke where it's like it doesn't slow, you don't slowly fade out of it, you just, you're a silhouette and then just suddenly you like step out of it, like stepping out of the water almost, you know. It's like suddenly you just sort of appear, and it's very dramatic the way it happens, so I can kind of imagine that. But
just the movement of the smoke, it really, like, I don't know, makes the whole thing epic, even though it's just something stepping out of it. The whole movement of the smoke makes it really look grandiose and cool.
I'm going to touch on that for mine as well, because that's kind of like how I imagine mine a little bit, but I'm interested in hearing
don't spoil it. We got to get onto your one next. Shall we talk a little bit about Neon? What was the name of the song that you picked to introduce it to the people?
So the song that I picked, I'm gonna have to remind myself now, because because there's I've been through so many recently for the for songs at the minute, but it is called Evolve by East of Eden.
There we go.
So, I knew what song I wanted to pick instantly, but as always, as you guys know by now, I am terrible when it comes to fucking names.
Isn't that the violinist who's also was in the Lonesome Blues song, and she's also in Morphonica? Same violinist, isn't it? She's really good.
Yes, and this is exactly why I picked the extended version for that.
Oh, really?
Lovely violin intro. Yeah,
she's not in the stock version. Oh, but the intro. Yeah, because the intro was something that I really wanted to cover on. It's like it starts like a lot of what makes that walk-in music is the intro. It's like, you know, it spends a bit of time setting up a soundscape, setting up a mood.
Realistically thought in a movie, a scene like that, it's probably not even 1 minute long, I would say.
I want to hear what you guys think of that. Like, what did you guys get from that?
Yeah, like, if I can go first. Compared to my song, because mine was like really evil, I had immediately the thought of like Leon's song is some kind of hero coming in. I mean, with that beautiful violin intro, I saw him like in a, I don't know, a foggy bay, and a ship slowly coming in, and he's like standing like a samurai slowly coming in, and then he's like going on the journey to defeat the evil vampire.
This is kind of interesting. So I don't know. I got a very strong vibe of a scene, but I don't know if it necessarily counts as an intro.
It got a really heroic vibe.
Yeah, it's definitely heroic. But for me, because of the pace of it, it felt much more like some kind of, a bit gothic, but like an action movie kind of thing. So it starts off dramatic, and then I kind of got this vibe. So again, I'm seeing, even more so with this one, I was kind of seeing like smoky, but I'm kind of imagining like two people all goffed up, something supernatural going on, but like fighting on top of a train with like swords and like swashbuckling on the roof of a train, like throughout the smoke, throughout the fog. There was something like that. It was way too fast to be like a sort of a plodding intro. For me, this was like if like Benedikt's one was setting up the drama and the scale, this one was like setting up like the panic and the kind of the furious speed. So yeah, I feel almost like I would say more of a counterbalance. This almost feels like the following scene. This is like, Benedikt's given us the character, and you've given us the person who turns up to foil them at the 11th hour.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what I was going for this. When I listened to the song, I had envisioned of like that violin for the intro for the hero. I had very much in my head like a Dante Devil May Cry vibe for this, where he comes in with the violin. I was thinking again, just like I said with Benedikt, I was thinking more in terms of anime than a movie. And I was thinking, you get that violin, you get that shot of the fog.
There are anime movies as well.
Yeah, the hero standing there. And I was thinking exactly that with a samurai sword or something like that. You get the shot of the boots, the collar flailing in the wind as the hero comes to save the day. And then as soon as that guitar kicks in, that's when the hand goes on the samurai sword, the sword comes out, and then that mad anime dash that they do as soon as the fucking guitar kicks in.
Yeah. Because that turn
towards the camera.
That exact shot, samurai sword out.
You guys have been watching enough anime. I'm trying to see this in movie terms, but you guys have got the perfect anime.
All about the cool angles.
For me, it's that turn in the song where the intro turns into, because Benedikt was saying like the way that a song kicks in, like the first minute is probably how it's going to be utilized in this setting. And I love the fact that it starts off dramatic and then it just turns at that 1 minute mark. So it's like almost like the intro is enough to give you an atmosphere, but then the characters immediately to action. This is a character who doesn't fuck around, doesn't waste any time. They're to action, they're to go. It's like straight away. And so I
had kind of a bit that vibe of what you're talking about in the later, after 1 minute, more of that. It could be like a collage, that hero like on a journey, but cut up pretty fast, and you have like all of different cool scenes and things like that.
Is that montage? It's that montage,
not collage.
Montage. You go from like one storyline to the other, but you got to fill in the gap of the journey so far. So you have that 2 minute scene where you just see them go and defeat like all the shit minor enemies.
This is like gothic rocky music, is what we're saying.
Yeah, like I said, I had like a Dante Devil May Cry, like kind of like Demon Slayer vibe in my mind, where I was kind of going that way. Like, but as soon as they said like the samurai swords and stuff like that, I was like, yeah, that's kind of exactly where I was going for.
So both of you are in this like gothic horror meets anime type of movie. I get that there has got to be animes about exactly that. It's got to be 100 animes about that.
Not as much, not as many as you'd like, actually, to be fair.
This sounds like the sort of thing that people would probably be really into. So maybe we should do that. Maybe we should have you both face off against each other to these.
I thought we should make that anime.
We should. We should.
With your lightsabers.
If you want to support us all on Patreon, let us make the Gothic samurai anime happen for YouTube. Like, let us know.
we have no scripts, we have no previous experience, and we've got 2 songs that are already copyrighted. Give us money.
I mean, there has been a Star Wars anime recently, even with a like samurai like character.
Yeah, it was so weird.
I'm not sure what it's called.
Star Wars Visions.
Visions, yeah.
Yeah, it was all right,
nice.
actually. I quite enjoyed that. I would actually say, as much as black as like Netflix gets, they're like Western animes for like Castlevania and stuff like that at the minute has been absolutely fucking amazing. And I would say, probably there was definitely like a lack of like really good kind of like Gothic vibe Japanese animes at the minute. Whereas probably about 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, there was actually...
Like Helsing is the most Gothic I can think of.
Yeah.
It was very much in vogue if you went back like 10 or 20 years, whereas less so now.
Less so now. I think I definitely think it's just one of those like flash in the pan things where there's like maybe too many.
did actually now...
And now there's not enough.
You say Helsing, there was an anime of Helsing, like the Van Helsing sort of story?
Not Van Helsing,
Not
just
Van Helsing. No.
Okay.
It's about a vampire called Alucard.
Okay. I don't know. I just kind of, because that sort of vibe is the vibe that I would very much... I'd very much attribute that sort of Van Helsing kind of vibe to your particular song.
Okay, true. But no, it's more like, I mean, it still has some of that vibe, I would say, the Helsing series, but it's actually a bit different.
You could have been an anti-hero. Like yours definitely could be an anti-hero as well.
That's what the hero in Helsing kind of is.
Okay, yeah. I tend to find actually, so the thing that anime does a lot is it tends to be very good at like taking ideas from like Western properties and reinventing them and giving them a whole new lease of life. So I definitely get a very strong vibe from both of those. But I like Benedikt's point that you two could be like the counters to each other in a movie.
Exactly. That's why I found it so funny when I then heard Howard's song, because I was like imagining like Neon's character and my villain character having like this epic battle, and then like the dawn.
You're the comedic fucking.
And then Howard comes in.
You're the comedy. I'm like the swashbuckling hero. You've got the dramatic villain, and then you just got Howard's the fucking comedy relief of this anime.
I feel like I read the assignment wrong with this one when I listened to yours. I posted mine and then I looked at your 2 songs. I was like, oh shit, someone read the assignment wrong. I went for I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it. I mean, the name without this scribble out is Fucking Wonderful World by Anna, but usually it's written as F Wonderful World. Yeah, I think this is the ultimate walk-in music, no doubt. This
I wouldn't say you read the assignment wrong, you just interpreted it differently. Because I would say like yours is the most, that's just you how you are, and we are just more, ours are more like we how we would like to see ourselves in the movie.
So yeah,
I have no other layers. I am just what you said.
Comedic relief.
There's no more depth than what.
I mean, in the context of our songs, I would agree, like comedic relief. But on the song itself, I think it's a pretty like
it's a great
cool
song.
intro song, actually.
I don't know why, but I had vibes of like the heroes on the journey, but then like he encounters a problem that he can't solve. And then like Howard just pops up out of nowhere, like wearing some like, I don't know, like spandex freaking leggings or something. and then I spend the whole episode trying to fucking get rid of him, but it ends up being that Howard solves the problem somehow, even though the hero doesn't expect it, and we move forward on the journey. And the hero's just like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Like the one really funny, really weird episode that they shove in there.
Yeah. He's a recurring character throughout the anime, just doing random fucking shit. See, that's how it happens. Like me and Benedikt are having this fucking alternate fight, Benedikt looks like he's going to win. The hero's down. I'm wounded. There's blood gushing everywhere. I'm trying to hold on to my sword. And then the music kicks in and Howard just walks past like that. Accidentally trips over or something like that. The light falls down and fucking kills Benedikt. And that's how the anime fucking ends.
Do you know what I love is the fact that
hero.
the fact that we're still seeing, because we always post our suggestions to each other in a Discord, but we try not to look at each other, so we just try not to get biased. I posted mine last this time, and the funny thing is that I like, because you posted yours both first, we're seeing my song through the lens of like a dark gothic anime, which is 100% not what I had in mind. So
that's what I said. Yeah,
it's like, this is just making it really weird for me now, because I'm trying to imagine it like, yeah, that'd be really fucked up, wouldn't it? Yeah, I don't think this would sit very well in that type of thing.
How did you envision this song go? It's a great song, by the way. I do absolutely love it. I actually found myself being pretty jealous of both your requests. Actually.
Yeah, me as well. I actually would say Howard is my favorites this time, but also I'm not sure like what kind of scene I would imagine to it.
It's interesting. No ideas from either of you on that one.
I mean, something just obviously cool, like the one I posted to you before, when they are just walking out in cool style.
You posted the Harold and Kumar dip song.
You know the movie?
I know of it. I haven't seen it, but I've seen so many clips from it. It's like a very memeable couple of movies. Isn't
It's
it?
pretty funny in my opinion.
I feel like this is the type of music where it's like a touch-up scene, like the hero's like down on his luck or something like that, and he buys himself a new shirt or something. Like, imagine Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 3, where he's like... I mean... I just imagine Howard walking down the street like...
Bully McHoward.
Bully McHoward, yeah. Bully Maguire.
This is kind of how I, like, read the assignment in a way, is that I kind of felt like if it's walk-in music, and maybe in a way I was even thinking a little bit unknowingly, not so much of wrestling, but like boxing, like we were talking about. I like, it's got to have a degree of swagger to it. And what came into my head was I was thinking of the conversation that we had on the last episode about K-pop and J-pop. And you pushed me in the end to explain why I didn't like Blackpink, and it'd been sort of bouncing around in my head that I have this thing about, I don't mind swagger in music, but I really don't like that kind of front loading where you're like, everything about the way the character the artist dresses and everything they say, like Blackpink in your area, it's like supposed to make you feel that it's cool, but when the music actually starts, it's like there's nothing there to really back it up. What I really like about this is that she comes across as being very demure. You know, she's not being cutesy to try and set you off. She's not doing anything, just being very normal.
More like awkward even.
Yeah, a little bit awkward.
Like in a sympathetic way.
Yeah, it's kind of, you have to just sort of take her at face value, but then everything's done through the delivery of the song and the kind of increasingly erratic lyrics. And I just kind of like it because it's got a lot of, it feels much more like hard hitting than any song that's trying to shout at you. And I just like that. It's like, it's got a bit of swag, it's got a bit of fun, but you're actually like, okay, I'm going to pay attention to this.
Your anime kind of reminds me of like real life a little bit for you. Like, it just reminds me of this like really, really upbeat song. Like, your anime could be like a down on his luck character. Like, everything is going wrong. Like, he's struggling to get by, but for some strange reason remains like uber positive. Like, every episode something goes wrong, and every episode he's just happy.
I was thinking of an Edwardian dress drama, you know. I was like, I was thinking Pride and Prejudice was kind of more what I was going for, that kind of vibe.
No shiny vampires in this one.
Yeah, no. No, basically like something contemporary. Yeah, definitely. I wasn't thinking particularly otherworldly. Maybe this just demonstrates my lack of imagination, but I was thinking something very contemporary, real world setting kind of thing. Just kind of like me as me.
It definitely shows that you're more outside the box thinking than me and Benedikt. Like, I think me and Benedikt.
I don't know. I feel like I've delivered myself to rate too.
I actually tried to find a song like yours, but I couldn't find one that's like I considered good enough.
I think the only one that even came close to me was the Wednesday Campanella as a general, are very good at that type of music. But Shaka Shine is a very good example of a similar song. But the thing is, Shaka Shine's a little bit more out there, a little bit more weird, and it doesn't quite have as much. Like I feel like Shaka Shine wants to go into a slightly more airy place. Whereas this song feels quite determined. It's 2.5 minutes.
Exactly.
It's short.
Yeah.
It's very
because
like,
I thought of the same. I almost picked last time the first song of this one, which has like a similar vibe, but then also goes into some other like a bit more unique style, I would say, which doesn't really fit. But your song is like very consistent on that vibe.
Yeah, I was reminded a lot of those
Perfect
sort of
movie
shorter
song.
songs from like the late 90s, where usually you'd have like a distorted bass, you know. I mean, obviously Song 2 by Blur is the one that a lot of people would think of, but you have other things, you know, kind of like Favorite Game by Cardigans, you know, those sort of short songs with like the distorted bass. And they kind of like were always very direct and punchy and grabbed your attention, but they always worked when they were short, because you can't drag that kind of thing out. It's got to be punchy and to the point. So yeah, this kind of was like the only song I could go for. And then I saw yours too, so I was like, I could have been more imaginative with my movie choice. I still like mine though.
Yeah, I'd actually say I'd probably go for yours. I'm with Benedikt on that one. I think yours is nice and happy and definitely out there.
I would pick yours as well, even though in the context it's still very funny, like imagining our insane battle and then the door opens. No.
Howard just walked in.
Yeah,
it's kind of I can't imagine that my character would be able to interact with your characters at all, because one of you would just accidentally like swing a sword backwards and like behead me just by mistake. And so I've got to be in somewhere. I've just got to be walking around in the background, like not interacting through, like, because I'd probably end up dying. I'm just walking around having fun. That's the only way this is going to work.
comic reliefs always have plot armor. It's fine.
Yeah. Like I just imagine that, like I said, the hero tries to get rid of you all the time. Like he just sees you as somebody who's in the way, and like, you know, get out the way. You'll only mess things up, but secretly you don't see. But as the plot develops, it's actually you that saves the day all the time, and the hero is unbeknownst to the hero. You're actually the real hero of the anime that saves the hero all the time.
I think that what's interesting for me is when I take us kind of out of this and I replace the actual singers into the positions that we've described. I think in a way, what works about these three songs a lot is the fact that the singers kind of really carry the vibe that we were going for as well. So I can't remember her name, but the singer from YOUSEI TEIKOKU.
Yui or Karen.
Something like that, yeah. She's like often, like, I've seen her with the big hat and everything, and she definitely has that sort of big dramatic, you know, head down sort of walk in, you know, dark feeling to it. The last from East of Eden, again, that whole vibe of that is very kind of a little bit more like fast movements, dramatic. And then I think Anna kind of very much personifies the slightly, like you said, awkward, but awkward slightly, something's a little bit wrong, but she's very much real person kind of vibe. I should point out, actually, she's done two things I'll point out about Anno. She did two things that really made me laugh. She did a song recently which was picked up to be used for McDonald's adverts, but the entire music video is about how if she worked in McDonald's she wouldn't smile, which I thought was brilliant. And then she did another one where she's done an advert for Book Off, which is a popular like secondhand CD and music shop over here. And the advert is literally like one employee, like an older employee, telling her the slogan for the company and teaching her how to say it and say, "Okay, your go." And then Anna just leans in and goes, "No." And that's basically her contribution to the advert. So there's some sort of passive aggressive thing going on with this girl, but it comes across very well.
But can I ask you, is this like representative of her usual style?
I would say that the attitude is her songs tend to vary. She's primarily pop, but her pop is a little bit more. It's got a little bit of.
Because that was I was wondering about, because this doesn't really sound like pop to me. I would even more describe this as punk, like some electro pop punk mix. But like the attitude, it's very like cheeky, way too cheeky to be just pop.
I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people have taken a liking to her, is because it's not overacted, but there is this sense that she's in the same way that I think Bish was seen as like the anti-idol, and that they were going into a pop scene but being the opposite. She's kind of like the anti-idol, but she's not trying to be the opposite. She's just kind of like, look, I'm not your smiley cutesy. I'm not going to run around doing that kind of thing. She's quite cute, but it's not like, it's really, she's quite passive in the way she does her stage performance. So most of her music probably is more pop than this, but that attitude goes through all of it. So even that song I said, which was picked up by McDonald's, or I don't know if it was commissioned, but I think it was picked up by them to be used as a theme tune for them. It sounds like pop. When you sort of listen to it and you take in some of the stuff happening in the song, it's got this weird attitude, this weird sort of thing underneath the surface that makes it not exactly sit well in a list of other pop songs. It's just the mood, the attitude is very clearly there. So
yeah, I would definitely listen to this again, but like usually I'm not like that with most pop music.
I'm not sure
There's
if you'd be a big
something
fan of
else
her
to
other
it.
stuff, but I'd say check it out. You might not be a big fan of her other stuff, but check it out more out of interest. You never know, might pick up some other songs you like. But I would say definitely for anyone who's watching, if you're a rock fan, then Anna is definitely worth trying just out of interest.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned Bish, because I found it really similar, like that cheeky, punky style to that Bish song you had in the other video.
Yeah. Again, I like artists who have an attitude to them, but it feels like they're enjoying having the attitude. It doesn't feel like a full-on act. I mean, there's always a bit of act to it. I mean, you look at bands like Bish, Bandmade, Anna, Akko Gorilla, who I know is not as famous, but things like that. I really like that because it feels to me like they don't have to switch on the attitude. They just kind of ham it up a little bit. And this is why, I know it's been said before, this is why I have a little bit of trouble with things like Atarashi Gakko, because I feel like with them, it's a full-on, the difference between them as people and them as their personas, it feels like it's completely switched on.
So, but what do you think of like the vocals in my song then? Because I feel like there's like a strong attitude, but I also feel that's not her usual self.
Well, it's a bit hard for me to say because I don't know her outside of the music videos.
Yeah, me neither.
In a way, I feel she looks very comfortable in her own skin when I see her do it. Like, she's doing the big dramatic movements and everything, but there's kind of like a lot of the time there's a bit of a smile on her face. So there's just a feeling that it's very comfortable. It doesn't feel like something where she has to put any effort into it. It just feels like that's how she likes to be. It's very hard to explain because obviously people read these things differently. But for me, like attitude in music, it's when just the person looks like they just slip into it. Like I kind of actually, like you guys were saying about the characters you picked for your movie characters were not you, but maybe like a version of what you wanted to be. And that's kind of what I think that makes a really good sort of persona for a walk-in song or something, is when the artist is maybe hamming it up but being what they want to be, adding a persona, but it's kind of them, but them just sort of amplified in a direction they'd like to take things. So that's how I describe it. If I described it at all. I think I just ranted for about 10 minutes and didn't say very much.
No, I think
Sweet
you
coffee.
hit the spot. I mean, yeah.
Beautiful.
I think
so, guys. I said too much. So, guys, everyone at home, this is probably one of the most vague ones yet, but I think this is a really fun one. Walk-in music. What would you pick? Why? I know some people like to write long comments. This is the perfect one for it. Describe the scene. Get in there. Get your best writing ability out there. Describe the scene. Describe your character. Pick your song, and then this is actually a really fun one. So we might come back, and if
we'll pick a winner. We'll pick a winner. We'll do another video.
I don't even know. I feel bad picking winners when it comes to comments. I think we might just sort of go over some of our favorites. I mean, there's probably only going to be like 3 or 4 anyway, so you can probably go over them. And if
we
there
can
is
all
one
choose our favorite.
Yeah, but then we all pick the same one or something. Hashtag no bias. But yeah, I think this is a really fun one. So even though it's a bit vague, use your imaginations, get in there, be more imaginative than Howard. But you'll never find a song as funky as mine, but you can be more imaginative if you like. And yeah,
Honestly, I
was really
thought ours, like Neon and mine, was way more cliche. Like we went for the
Yeah,
badass.
yeah, I agree. I thought
I
actually,
was really
yours was better.
surprised by yours. I had never, I wasn't even thinking of that. I was thinking it has to be like sort of something with a bit of swagger, a little bit of like walk-in music, you know, it's got to be like attitude. And then when I like, because I heard Neon's one first, I listened to it, I was like, what was it? What's he doing here? Like this isn't what we're supposed to do. And then as it started playing, I was like, oh yeah. And I started visualizing it in my head. I was like, yeah, okay. Oh yeah, that makes sense. And then I heard your one afterwards, Benedikt, and I was like, oh fuck, what did I do? I was like imagining these grand gothic designs, and there's me. So
I mean, like I said, if I would actually choose a song, if the like my actual character, like it is, like I am right now, would come in a movie, there would definitely a different song be on.
Yeah, for sure.
So-
I feel like if we were playing like a game of D&D, like me and Benedikt would be like some kind of like wizard or warlock sorcerer, and you could just tell that Howard would be the bard. He'd literally be the comedic relief character.
yeah.
Like a cook or something.
Yes, I think that's it. Yeah, it's got to be something much more menial. You know, someone who everyone actually relies on, but
The scribe,
not the interesting story. I think, yeah.
But then he whips out his spatula and
yeah.
Euphemism time. You call that a spatula?
This is when the anime becomes 18 plus.
Oh, there's whole sections of anime for that. But anyway,
The best kind.
No, honestly, thank you, everyone, as always, for watching. By the way, I just point out that if you watched all the way through to the end of this, we really appreciate everyone's support. We've been enjoying doing this recently. We always appreciate any comments and thoughts. Obviously, we're really looking forward to seeing what you say on this one. But often each week we're talking about topics to talk about. And there's a lot of things we think about, but we're always very interested to see what you think as well. There's some comments that I've seen come up that we will be taking in and try and do videos about in the coming few weeks. But just, yeah, always feel free to give feedback. The channel's growing, so now is the perfect time before we all become mega stuff.
Yeah, I want to say that.
Just let us know what you want to see and let us know what you're enjoying, and we'll make sure to try and like lean towards the side which you guys feel is most enjoyable. So yeah, there you go. Anyway, we love doing these. So.
Yeah, don't forget to keep subscribing as well. Like, I've noticed that as well.
Keep subscribing.
Yeah,
keep
subscribing. The channel's been growing nicely as well recently, which is really, really nice to see. Videos have been doing well view-wise. You know, so it's nice to see things like that. The support that you guys give keeps us motivated, makes us want to keep doing these videos and all that as well. So joking aside, yeah, I want to say a big thank you for everybody that supports us. You guys are amazing.
And we're aiming towards 3 a week, but it seems to be turning over quite well. But we'll just see how sort of things go. But we're definitely enjoying it. So anyway, for now, we're gonna bugger off now. So we had our intro music. We haven't got any exit music, but what we do have is our exit thing where we ask you. Yeah, we need that for the next one to keep your ears to the east.